Welcome to the F and Adam Show 2025 season. Out of control. Not my favorite day yesterday. You're going to get positive Pollyanna. Adam, you know, I think it was like the worst week of the season yesterday. The trade deadline is tomorrow, though, so we can correct some of those things. We can make some of those things better. Turn whatever yesterday was, where the car got more play than anything around the league, into maybe some goodness. Some veteran players moving. Speaking of veterans, 15-year NFL vet Brian Hoyer here to help break it down. Packers, Chiefs, Giants, Dable, Jackson, learn to slide, Tucker Kraft. We got lots to talk about. Let's do it. I'm not in a great mood. Matthew Hamilton joining us. Our sleepers crushed. There were some good things. I mostly didn't like yesterday. You know, again, we're back to some, like, tumult. Last week was sort of like the bye week of the NFL, where it wasn't absolutely insane. But I don't like when the cart comes out for Tucker Kraft. I don't like what happened to JAYDEN last night. JAYDEN. I don't like, I don't know. I don't like it. There's a lot of things I didn't like yesterday. I'm happy for the Bills. They get a win. Yeah. I loved seeing that. Their pass rush. I mean, Joey Bosa, those are among some of my big takeaways. But I'm excited about what's in front of me. I like trade deadline. Well, we're all over it here on the Up and Adam Show, powered by FanDuel. But I'm looking forward to double-digit weeks. We're looking forward to it. What I don't like is that there's this back to the mess. You know? Fine. We have some good
like
things.
The mess.
I don't like. No, because it's the old adage, when you have two quarterbacks, do you have, at this point of the program, I want to know who's really good, who's really going to be around. And outside of, like, the Eagles, the Rams, I still believe in the Colts. We'll get to that. But I hate that the Colts are giving enough people reasons to, like, punch down on them, you know, all those things. Outside of that, like, what, I don't know. Denver, again, we're back to this 3 quarters of nonsense. There's just a lot of nonsense. And I want some teams to, you know, I likened it in our morning call to, like on a dating show, and you start with, like, 40 ladies or 40 dudes. You know, by into the second half of it, you want it to be down to 4 and get deeper into their stories. And we're still, like, with these middling bros who, you know, are drinking matchas. You know, that's where we still are. We have not like weeded those out to find, like, the real men and the real contenders to win the affection of Mrs. Lombardi trophy.
I get it. You're just Brett Michaels trying to find your rock of love, and there's still the girl that's, you know, getting wasted on the bus, and you know.
But at this point, I want, like, New York. What was her name? New York. We're talking different dating show.
Yeah.
I want her to have emerged. Where is she? Who is she? Is she the Rams? She might be.
She's certainly not New York.
Yeah, she is certainly not New York. Is Coach Dable gonna get fired? This is sad stuff for me. I would hate to see it. Then we got to talk about the Packers, because, like, I gave them a lot of credit last week for what do I call it? Squishing the cigarette on the neck of some NFL team. Yesterday, there was not a point in the game where I was like, they are really bringing it. They are really, like, putting their stamp. Why would you let a team, what do they say on the Fox broadcast, playing with your food? There's nothing worse than that. Why would you let teams hang around? I'm texting Hamilton, I'm on the plane, I'm pissed. I'm like, are you bored? I'm pissed, I'm hungover, it's holiday weekend, I'm dealing with, like, all sorts, and I'm just like, can we just have decisiveness somewhere? Certainty? All a girl wants is some certainty. Can I get it? We didn't have it. We do have the trade line, we do have Brian Hoyer on the show. I don't know. Last week's slate was a nice nap. It was a snoozer. And then what we have now, I don't know.
Give me the chaos. Let's go.
No, I don't want chaos theory. I want to see where things stand. Should we take a look at the standings?
Let's do it.
What sticks out to you first and foremost, Ham?
I mean, seeing that three-way tie between the Colts, Patriots, and Broncos at the top of the AFC is not something I think anybody thought they were going to see coming into the season, but yeah, I mean, that 1 seed is entirely up for grabs. The Bills back into that conversation now, and as you can see, the Chiefs not on this full screen. The 1 seed might not be. I mean, it's still in play. You never count the Chiefs out from anything, but they might have to. They might have to do this the hard way in the playoffs.
And the Jags re-enter the playoff picture. Let's take a look at the NFC standings. A little bit more chaotic. Hamilton likes this for some reason. The Packers lost to the Panthers. insane, moved the Eagles into the 1 seed. So they did nothing and they won, which we love to see. Good for them. They've been gearing up. They just made their 3rd trade of the week this morning. okay, Howie. They get Jalen Phillips. So athletic, so talented, a lot of upside there if he can stay healthy. They snag him from the Dolphins to go along with Jair Alexander and Michael Carter. Overall, 4 teams at 6-2. Woof. The Lions have slipped to the 7th seed after they lose to the Vikings. Oh, J.J. McCarthy, that was a bright spot of Week 9 action. 5-3, the Vikings are now. Every single team in the NFC North within a game of each other in the win column. Philly, once again, faves to win the NFC at plus 360. I love that. They jumped the Lions. They jumped the Packers, who just let teams linger and then lose to those said teams. Weird. So hard to have a better week than the Eagles did. They didn't have to even work, and they look great. And then they have extra rest. They are the November 10th Monday night game, Philadelphia at Green Bay on Monday Night Football, as far as last night's concerned. And I hate this because it's, you know, you want to start with, like, how great was Sammy D? How great? Oh. But no, instead we're talking about this horrific JAYDEN injury. We'll get Brian Hoyer's thoughts, of course. I'm sure he has a different, unique vantage point to this, seeing the game as he does. But, of course, all thoughts, all prayers, please, football gods, God, the real God, can you give him a speedy recovery? We hate this for him. One of the best. We hate it for fans. And I hate it for the injury narrative that we're going to see conflate. When this is all said and done, it'll be he's an injury-prone player, can't stay on the field potentially, and it'll be because this wasn't really on him. I love Dan Quinn. I think he's an excellent coach. I also think he has enough equity where this is not... this doesn't really linger, but this was a mistake. We can all agree this is a mistake to have him out there in a game that was so out of hand that Tirico and Collinsworth are talking about spearfishing. We're spearfishing right now on the broadcast while this is happening. I don't want to harp on this, though. We all know that that was not the right move. We just now have to hope that the injury wasn't too bad, that somehow maybe even there's a trust thing that needs to happen between his side and the coach. Like, we own it, mea culpa. You can trust us. We're not going to put you in those situations. Of course, he's going to want to be out there. Any player would. We can't fail him going forward. He's got 2 years left on his rookie deal. So I'm not going to harp on that. I'm going to say the way to make this right is you can't let these things happen. You have to make sure he can trust you, that you're not going to be put in these situations again. And I said it last week, I thought Adam Peters should go all into sell mode if they lose this game. They lost this game, and now he's got to go into sell mode. And that's not going to be great maybe for the team, for their morale, whatever, but you got to do what's right here, and that's get some picks. You got to get rid of some of the salary. You have to get yourselves in a position to inject some young talent into this defense. That's how you protect your quarterback, okay, going forward. I'm going to just... I love Bobby. No one loves Bobby Wagner more than me. I don't know how he feels. Does he want to stay? Is he comfortable where he is? He obviously came there because he loved it. He's been adamant about that as a leader, contributions, all of that. But do you, now that it's looking really bad, what are they, 3-something, won 3 games this year? Is that true? 3-6, thank you. Do you send B-Wags, bona fide leader, culture guy, maybe can't be actually don't know if he can't be, but doesn't look like right now he's like the guy. Do you send him to the Niners, where he wouldn't have it all on his plate, fill in that Fred Warner bit of that? Do you send him to Seattle? I'm just saying, Ernest got hurt yesterday. Is there a world where, I don't know, this is scrolling, hold on. Ernest did get hurt yesterday, yes. So I feel like maybe we could get him there. I would like that. Put him in a spot, Bobby Wagner. You can get something back, and I'm talking like a late rounder. You can get like a 6th rounder, a 7th rounder, but you need, like, the Commanders, like, they need those picks. Zach Ertz, that's an interesting part of this situation as well, but I don't know, the way that I'm seeing this, I'd like to see him in Seattle. I think that'd be really fun. Man, it's tough. It's tough if you're on this. If you're talking, it's tough if you're a Commanders fan, but the defense is really what the problem is. And you got to stay aggressive. You got to do your thing. What's another place? I mean, Ernest Jones got it. Is there anything I'm missing, Hamilton, with a spot you could put him where he doesn't have to play every down? Zach Ertz to the Packers would be funny.
I've seen Buffalo getting thrown out there. I don't know how much they necessarily need him,
Does he want
but
to go to Buffalo? Yes. If you like, it's all him too, right? Like, what does
yeah.
if you're? I can't imagine when you're the veteran at the status that you're at that they're not talking to you about where you might want to go. I can't imagine. I think Seattle's a cute storyline for you and me. I don't think he's going to want to return to Seattle. I don't think that. I think that's over. So Niners become a great. It makes sense with an injury or to Ernest Jones. I understand that, but Niners feel like the vibe contender. You're going to want to go to Buffalo, potentially. I guess. Anywhere else?
Maybe a reunion with the Rams too. Yeah, that stint there with McVay, so that could be a possibility. But yeah, if there's a contending team, there are these contending teams that can use a guy like him, and you'd have to think he'd be interested at this point, at this stage of his career.
You got to get rid of these vets. That's what you got to do. And then where's the Lattimore in this? Is this in here?
Yeah, so Lattimore
he's done?
He's done for the year as of this morning, torn ACL. So that's a bummer. That was another name that was big in the trade talks
so
because
now they can't.
He has an $18 million cap hit for next year that they can get out of, but still.
That's not good. Lattimore would have been the first deal of, nobody loved that deal more than we did. They were trying to solve a problem with A.J. Brown. They were trying to solve a problem with having to go against the Eagles. It made a lot of sense. It has not worked out. Now he's hurt. That almost makes me think they're going to get rid of Ertz and Wagner. Not by get rid of, but then, gosh. I would love to see Bobby in Chicago. I'll just say that. I'd love to see him as part, just culturally, if we're talking. But if you're Bobby Wagner and you do have a say in any of this, there's no world. Maybe there is a world you want to go to Chicago. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to go anywhere, and so he'll stay.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see. People think he's done. Do you have a feeling he can still be part of something?
I absolutely think he can still be productive. I think where you see the bad moments with him is in coverage when he's out there on third downs because he has to be in this defense. I think if he gets to a situation where he's more a first, second down guy helping you against the run, he still has the instincts. He still makes everybody around him better. He still has a lot of value to a team.
Maybe he wants to go back to Seattle, finish his career there. There's a lot, the roads are open here ahead of the trade deadline, but we'll see about that. Speaking of the Seahawks, we have to give him a little love. I know he started with JAYDEN. Adam Peters, that's your assignment. That's what you got to do. Dan Quinn, you got to figure out some trust, and then Adam, you got to start figuring out trust in the way of protecting him with adding to the defense and making a better, more complete team. The Seahawks might have the most complete team in the NFL. I'm just going to say, I know Rams fans are like, shut up, it's me. It's between both of you, with who top to bottom is just like you cannot poke holes in anything that's going on. It's why I think that they don't want Bobby Wagner. They don't need Bobby Wagner, that Rams squad, or the Seattle squad. Sam Darnold could not miss last night. One of the best first halves that we've seen in the history of this game. I loved it. I like the unis. I like all of it. Do you remember there were actual conversations about whether or not he'd fall off outside of Minnesota? Was he, is it all Kevin O'Connell? Is it all Justin Jefferson? That has not happened. He's actually gotten better. Jay has been playing like the best receiver in the sport. He is in that top three. Run game is working. Defense has only given up more than 20 points once this entire year. And even the special team seems to be coming up with big play after big play. So I know people want to see what happens when Sam has to face some top-tier aggressive defenses. Guess what? Looky, looky, we get it next month. He gets a shot at avenging a playoff loss to the Rams in 2 weeks. He's going to go against Brian Flores and the Vikings 2 weeks after that. He's not going to be able to fully squash the narrative until the playoffs, but if Sam wins those two against defenses that are going to come after him relentlessly, that's a huge step in the right direction. Super, super fun stuff going on in the NFC West. And let's talk Chiefs-Bills. Let's move to that point of the program. They get their win. They get a decisive, beautiful, swarming win. They deliver Patrick Mahomes like one of the worst games he's ever had in his career. Josh Allen, every bit of the MVP. Perfect. James Cook. Josh Allen, he doesn't have to do it alone. He's got James Cook. Another 100-yard game. Dalton Kincaid did his thing. Breakout season for him that we expected and wanted and cheered for. The Bills did win this one because of what could win them a Super Bowl in this defense. Like they have my attention when it comes to that. Joey Bosa, I don't know what clicked. I don't know what's happening. They pressured Mahomes 28 times on 34 pass attempts. 16 of those 28 came from Bosa, like you're seeing, came from their draft pick, Greg Rousseau. But is Bosa showing us? Yeah, I'm still the guy. I am the guy. I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to be the difference maker for this pass rush that I've wanted. They've tried to nail down what this attack looks like in the Josh Allen era. The secondary, tremendous. They hold Patrick under 50% completions for the first time in his career. Second-year safety Cole Bishop. You're going to get a million attaboys on this very program. You were, I mean, in every passing window, you're a nightmare. You were a Halloween nightmare for the greatest quarterback outside of Josh Allen. That's a conversation to have, of course. The reigning MVP looked so good. The defense looked so good. I'm a big fan of Maxwell Hairston. I loved seeing him get his first career pick in his second game as a pro. He's such a personality, and it's all looking up for them. And I know that they've beaten the Chiefs in the regular season plenty of times. They've never shown that they can do that, though, to Patrick Mahomes. That is the difference. It would be, you know, you seeing it all. Congrats on your regular season Super Bowl, Bills, whatever. Okay, there is that, and there's a sample size, and it's very hard to beat a team twice. If they're going to see each other in January, it might be different. That's fine, but I don't know if they can do this to Patrick in January. That's something that we've only really seen the Chargers do to Patrick this year. More on that with Brian Hoyer, Chiefs side of things. All week it's going to be national level. Josh Simmons, where is he? Where is he? Whatever's going on, that's going to be nudged. That button's going to be, that absence is going to be pushed because that absence was felt yesterday. Kansas City's offense moved the ball better than they did against the Eagles in the Super Bowl. A little bit of that feel, right? As far as how often Mahomes was getting hit back there. It was, he got hit like 14 times. It was absolutely insane. I've been on the fence about them trading for a running back by tomorrow's deadline, but I'm going to be so honest, I haven't been. I've been saying that I think they can get by with this rushing attack, but maybe you should add somebody. I've been, like, rebuted by, like, Taylor Lewan, Will Compton. I think somebody else also said, like, no, they're fine. They're fine. I gotta ask you, fervent, in it Chiefs fans. Like, do we want them to make a move? Do we feel okay with what we've got? Because I don't know, if you have Breece Hall in there yesterday, are things different? Alvin Kamara is not gonna get moved. He doesn't want to leave, which says a lot about what the culture is down in New Orleans, that him and Cam Jordan aren't, like, dying to leave. They're not asking to leave. Breece Hall's the one I keep looking at. Like, I just feel like you could see there was something to be had against this Bills run defense. And if you have Breece in that game, I think it plays out differently. And doesn't that make the difference come playoff time? I'm not panicking or anything, but we're going into a bye week for the Chiefs, which is great. They're still a half game out of a playoff spot. Broncos and Chargers, they keep winning somehow, even if it's in the fourth quarter. I'm not quite convinced. This second half schedule, not great for the Chiefs. Not easy, not a cakewalk. That Week 10 game against the Broncos, oh my goodness. Where is that one? Oh, in Denver. That is about as big and as bad as it gets. So eyes focused on that. Do we think we should add? What should we add? What position? What are the questions? How are Chiefs fans feeling this morning? Please let us know. Let's take a short break here. Let's bring in Brian Hoyer. He's dialed in. Brian's watching everything. 15 years in the NFL, and he's bringing us the goods. Is he convinced they need? Is the Chiefs going all the way? Let's get to that. Let's give the Seahawks some love. Love to see that as well. We'll get into it. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
When I don't see well, you're more plugged in with the Chiefs Twitter than I am. Do you feel like that's a thing?
The running back conversation? Yeah. It's a conversation that's been going on since, like, week 2 there, since, like, Mahomes was their leading rusher over the first couple of games.
And I love both of them. Yeah. So it's like.
And it's not a position, other than when they drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round, it's not a position that they've typically invested in at all. You know, when you go back and look at the Super Bowls that they've won, they've gotten Shady McCoy at the end.
Yeah, like not since
of his career. They've
not since like Jamal Charles. Like, have we had like what we, but like they expected Helaire to be that.
Yeah. But like Jerick McKinnon was phenomenal
Yeah,
for
yeah,
them, not somebody they invested a ton in. So it isn't something they've typically, but I'm with you. I think it would elevate this offense so much if you get a guy like that in there. And yesterday really showed us again, if you're gearing up for a rematch with the Bills, that's where you can get after this Bills defense is in the run game. And they weren't really able to exploit it yesterday.
yeah. Did something change with Joey Bosa?
I don't think so. I think he's healthy
He's just
and
feeling himself?
yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, he looked great.
Good for them. What would be more interesting than them like going to the Super Bowl? What's your
It'd be
big
a hell of a
question? What's your
story.
big question on them? Just if they can
I
do
think
it
the
again.
run. Yeah, I think the run defense
yeah.
is definitely something we have an eye on. I want to see them do this again defensively. As great a performance as it was, they haven't done it consistently this year. So,
Who did the charge? What's going on at where's the Chargers next week? Oh, Pittsburgh at Los Angeles,
that's a good one.
and then Broncos.
Or Joe Alt.
Broncos. Oh, Thursday night. Raiders at Denver. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
If I wasn't an absolute zombie, I might go out for that one.
It was Brock Bowers back. All of a sudden, the Raiders can make things interesting. He was just unbelievable yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
Just saying.
It was a shit week.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was an amazing
week
week.
of NFL. No,
Amazing
What
week.
is amazing?
Upsets, excitement, crazy finishes. That's what you want.
Woof. Hey.
Can I just say here for
this Monday night
10
Eagles
seconds?
at Green Bay. Holy shit.
I just want to wish my mom a quick happy birthday here for 10 seconds.
We'll do that
It's her
for the
birthday
next.
today. Okay.
Don't. What?
And here we go. They rush 5. He backpedals. Somehow he gets it all the way down to the 5. And it's knocked down incomplete. And the Bills have won it.
15-year NFL veteran Super Bowl champion, host of the Quick Snap podcast. Let's welcome back Brian Hoyer. Brian, what a game. Bills, Chiefs. What's your big takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the biggest takeaway is how the Bills defense handled Patrick Mahomes. It really gave him fits. It kind of took me back to that the AFC Championship with the Bengals. Kind of they mush rush them, kind of keep them in the pocket. I think that's always been a successful game plan. Now you got to go out and execute it. And there was plenty of plays in that game. You're like, how did he just convert that, right? There was one, I'm sitting there watching with my son. They do a half roll to the left, then he rolls right. The backside tackle kicks out the end on the left side, and he throws it down the field. You're like, how do they even develop these type of plays? And of course, Patrick hits them. So they're always kind of lurking under the surface. But one thing you'd say about that Buffalo defense and Sean McDermott and Bobby Babich, they know how to bend but don't break. I would say that's the best way to put it. And it helps when you got the reigning MVP accounting for 3 touchdowns on the offense side of the ball. Cook rushing for over 100 yards again. The Bills, look, they had a 2-week kind of took a nap for a few weeks, but now they're back and got to be one of the top contenders in the AFC.
So what's the lesson for the Chiefs after this one? Because watching, I mean, we've seen it. It was giving Eagles win last year in the Super Bowl, too. It's this thing, not everybody can do it, right? I'm looking, but they hit him 14 times. They forced him into the lowest completion percentage of his career. They wanted to limit his scrambling. Pass rush got home. What's the lesson for the Chiefs in this? What do they need to do?
Well, I just heard you guys talking about it. They got to get some help in the running game, right? You can't put it all on Mahomes.
Let's
you
go!
Can't put it. Look, Patrick is great, right? He's the best quarterback in the NFL over the last, 8 years. But any quarterback, you can't just put it on their shoulders the entire game, and then he's out there scrambling around, he's getting hit. It was a little bit different than the Eagles, too, because the Eagles in the Super Bowl, they were getting to him quick, right? The way that the Bills rushed, they wanted to make sure they kept him in the pocket, make sure that you were physical with the receivers, obviously add a few blitzes in, mix it up, and kind of keep them guessing. Like right here, you see, they're not really rushing. There he goes. Boom, you got him. And that type of mush rush, sometimes, especially with extra guys in coverage, can really affect Patrick. So you got to get some running game going, right? You can't just have him dropping back all the time, trying to pick apart a defense. Get some run game going. You mentioned maybe they trade for a Breece Hall, which secretly I'm holding out hope the Patriots maybe make a move for him. I know it's within the division. But look, give him some help back there, right? Don't make it so one-dimensional.
Is there a running back you like for the Chiefs outside of Breece Hall? Alvin Kamara, but I don't think he's going to. I think Alvin's just a happy little clam down in New Orleans.
Yeah,
I don't think he wants to get moved.
Brees would be an incredible
Right?
addition to what they do. I think what Andy Reid and Mahomes could develop for a guy who's, look, he's a threat in the run game and the passing game, right? That's why I'm trying to pair him up here with Josh McDaniels and Drake May. So I don't want to speak it into existence too much because and I know that's within the division, so I'm sure the Jets would ask for a premium from the Patriots, but I think he could fit really well. And Ramondre Stevenson was out yesterday. We don't know how long he's going to be out for. Obviously, they have Travion Henderson, but I think, look, Brees Hall, I think he's only 24 years old. So I get it. He's going to be, it's kind of a rent-a-player potentially. But at 24 years old and what he's capable of, I think he would do wonders for that Chiefs offense. Coulda,
woulda, shoulda, but do the Chiefs win that game if they have Brees Hall yesterday?
Oh, man, it all starts with the mentality, right? I think that's the thing that you've seen over the years. Like, you always want to, and I know Pacheco got hurt last year, so I kind of think they shifted away from that, but they got to come in and say, we're committed to run the ball 20, 25, 30 times a game and take some of that off of Patrick, right? I think having that balance, any quarterback would tell you, when you have balance, it makes the defense play a little bit differently, right? And so instead of them kind of mush rushing you or getting that pressure, they have to respect the run game.
I love this mush. The fact that you have the balls to say mush rush, because I would mess it, mush rush.
I just heard that so many times.
You did it 3 times like perfectly. I wouldn't dare say it. It's like saying slipped disc or something. Like you're going to get it wrong.
That's something like with Bill Belichick having played Mahomes in those games. And obviously I'm an offensive player, but you're in the meetings and you hear Bill say, look, we gotta contain this guy. You got to mush rush him a little bit. There it was again. And make sure that we don't let him get outside, because when he gets outside the pocket, he can make every throw, right? And so if you can contain him, be physical with the receivers, disrupt the timing of their passing game. I think that's what we saw the Bills do last night.
I mean, and look no further than Josh Allen with having a run game, and James Cook, who
that's right.
Somehow everyone's like, Josh Allen has to do it all. No, you have an incredible, it's a good thing, by the way, Bills fans. You have this insane, incredible running back, highly paid now, whatever needs to get his love. That said, because we are a sports show and this is Monday morning, is Mahomes still the better quarterback between the two?
Oh, man. I mean, look, you have to go. If you're looking at the entire career, you have to give it to Patrick because he's won the Super Bowl, right? I hate it for Josh because there's been so many games that it comes down to those two teams playing, and they just haven't been able to get over that hump. But clearly, they have the formula to do it. They just have to do it when it really matters the most. I mean, honestly, one of the best performances I remember by a quarterback in the recent 5 years was that game that the Bills lost in Kansas City. The way Josh Allen played in that game, he just left too much time for Mahomes, and then it gets to overtime. So, look, I've not been shy about my love of Josh Allen and the way he plays the game. I think he's inspired a guy like Drake May to play a very similar way, or even a Justin Herbert type player. So, but right now you got to give it to Patrick because he's won in the biggest moments.
And he leads your top 5 quarterbacks. We always give you homework, Brian, and you always knock it out the park. Cool. I haven't seen the list yet. Who else is? Let's put it up here.
Yeah, let me make sure I have it too. So I actually went with Stafford number 1 because I think right now we got to give him the props that he deserved.
Yeah.
He's playing incredible. I mean, honestly, like I'm up here in Drake Mayland and I'm all in on this kid. But when I see what Stafford's doing, and he's same draft class as me, so year 17, I think the addition of Devontae Adams was huge. I love Cooper Kupp, but he and Puka were similar. And now you have Devontae, who's a true X in that system. You let Puka move around, and Stafford's just dealing. Drake May, I think, is real. He had a off day yesterday, and I think was over 100 passer rating again, 200 plus yards. He's just got to do a better job protecting the football. Patrick, he wasn't on my list the first time I did this with you, but that was because he didn't have Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy been hurt. He's worked his way back up, and obviously this is just this season. Josh Allen, like I said, they kind of took a 2-week hiatus. They're back. He played incredible last night. And I got to give props to Sam Darnold as well. This is tough, trying to find who deserved this 5th slot. But after what I saw last night from Sam Darnold, I'm just so happy for this guy. You guys have talked about it before, the narrative. Is it KOC? Nah, this guy's for real. He's playing confidently. And honestly, last night was one of the first times I really got to sit down and watch Seattle play. Jackson Smith and Jigba is incredible. I mean, the way he plays the game is just so phenomenal. He's got such a rapport with Darnold, and I really like what they're doing out in Seattle.
What is it with, they're complete top to bottom. Darnold's numbers are better than they were in KOC system with Justin Jefferson. When you're looking at Darnold, and you're saying it's the rapport, Put it in a vacuum for me, JSN. He was a stud last year as a rookie. What is it, like, from the quarterback perspective? Like, give me the argument that he should be talked about in that echelon, even though obviously the experience matters, and you know, JJ and Jamar have done it longer.
When I watched him last night, the speed with which he plays at, and the decisiveness, there was a play where they kind of moved him out of the slot a little bit, and literally his head turned and Darnold threw the ball, and I'm like, man, these guys are in sync. The decisiveness with which he's throwing the football to him. And I was just shocked at the overall level of speed that Smith and Jigba runs every single route. I mean, I don't know how you defend him. Every route looks the same speed. He's in and out of breaks. There was actually, I think, the touchdown that Darnold threw to Arroyo on the seam. They replayed the route that Njigba ran, and oh my God, he just torched the DB, and you know, it ended up being a touchdown on the other side, but I was really impressed with what he's doing. Clearly, he and Sam, you know, made that connection early on. They feel really comfortable. And I think what a great story for Sam Darnold, someone who was an outcast in New York, Carolina. And I saw the pregame interview he did with Jason Garrett. And he said, what about that year in San Francisco? What did that mean to you? He's like, look, it took the pressure off. I got to be around a great offensive mind and Kyle Shanahan, some great players. He mentioned McCaffrey and those guys, how they take care of their body. And then you go to Minnesota and get the opportunity to play with Kevin O'Connell, who former teammate of mine has done a tremendous job. Look at what JJ McCarthy did in his first game back yesterday. And so I think some people thought like, oh, is it Sam? Is it the players he's around? No, I mean, you take him out to Seattle, he's playing lights out. And I think there is something to be said. Kubiak is the OC, a very similar system to what they were running in Minnesota. And so you see the comfortability, and he's always been, in my opinion, one of the elite arm talents in the league.
Somebody who was always used to winning too, and then faced adversity right away. I think there's, you know, there's the scheme stuff, that's like your world. And then for me, it's like the humanity of it, of like, I feel like the label put on his head was the back pages of the papers with mono and a ghost and all this like absolute BS that he had to deal with that basically framed him as like a weak-minded quarterback. That's the truth. And then you're seeing everything he has fought through. Daniel Jones, similarly, I think, in that vein, to regain confidence. Like, that just doesn't happen. I know winning helps that tremendously, but the self-work that one needs to do, to dig deep and be like, no, I'm the man, watch, I'm going to try, I'm going to, through all this, is really impressive. And I think Sam has nailed that and does not get enough credit for that. You know who's going to be pissed and not impressed with your list, though? Can I see your list again? I mean, Jalen Hurts. Not in the top 5.
I know. Look, I hate
Prescott,
these lists.
Not in the top. Jared Goff, have you heard of him?
I know, but you know what? He's like similar to Pat, and I don't want to have a snap reaction. These lists are so hard to do.
Of course.
And honestly, these are guys I just have a lot of respect for, and they've played a lot of good football lately. But like, you know, Goff, Brian Flores and that Vikings defense, they got after him yesterday, and it affected him. Similarly to what Mahomes had to deal with in Buffalo. And look, if you had asked me this list last week, Daniel Jones would have been on this list. Obviously, you go out and you have 5 turnovers in a game. That's just, it's like lingering in my mind, right? But I think, you know, going back to what you said, the personal side of like the Sam Darnold story is so important. And look, for as great as these players are, there is a personal side to it. And how do you handle that adversity? And I think that's why I love the stories of Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones and Baker Mayfield, because it's kind of a win for those guys who have kind of been cast aside, you know, the media, the fans, he's not any good. No, they're good players. You got to be in the right situation with the right people around you. And it goes to show, you know, it's about timing and place. And these guys have taken advantage of those opportunities.
Drake May, unbelievable. You keep bringing him up, so let's just look right back to your backyard. I know you know him a little bit. You broke down plays with him?
Yeah, we did that last week. He's such an incredible kid. Sometimes you forget that he's only 23. Like, my son is 13, but he's big and he's mature. And sometimes as a parent, I forget, like, I treat him like he's a 16-year-old. And now I think that's kind of where we're getting with Drake May. Like, sometimes you got to remember this kid's only 23. And last year was not easy for him. And so he's played so well this season that yesterday is considered an off game for him. And I mean, he had a few plays, but you see right here, like the comfortability with which he's operating Josh McDaniels' offense. I knew it would come. I knew it would be there because Josh is a tremendous coach. And by all accounts, obviously Drake is talented physically, but from the people that I know who've been around him mentally, he's just as talented. And so the fact that it's happened this quickly, look, it's not sustainable to do that every single game. And so if yesterday's the worst that he's going to play, the Patriots are going to have a chance to take a long run in this postseason.
What do you mean by that? Let's take a look at it. They are on FanDuel. They won these 6 straight. Tied for the best record in the whole AFC. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're 6th on this list, though, plus 1,200 to win the conference. Who should they be ahead of? Where should they be?
Oh, I think, look, I mean, I get it. Lamar was hurt and the Ravens, but I got to think that they got to be up there, at least in between Indianapolis and Denver. I really do. They beat Buffalo at Buffalo. I think some people are going to say, was that a fluke? They'll get another chance here pretty soon. But I think, honestly, after what I saw yesterday, I would put them ahead of the Colts, to be honest with you. I think they're right there with Buffalo, which is, I think people are like kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's too good to be true, especially fans here in New England. They had it so good for all those years with Tom. It's like, is this really happening this quickly? But it's not just Drake, it's Mike Vrabel and the culture that he's built. I think he's building a team that will go and play anyone, anywhere, anytime. They don't care. They have a lot of belief in themselves. And as we mentioned before, I'm looking to see, the trade deadline is Breece Hall an option? I thought maybe Jalen Phillips will, but Howie Roseman strikes again. I mean, how incredible is he as a GM to be able to go out and acquire these players? You're like, how do they do it? But look, they're in a win now situation, and he's been aggressive. But I would love to see the Patriots maybe add a piece or two, because I think their timeline has accelerated, and has a lot to do with the play of Drake May.
I will also say this, to any Pats fan that maybe hasn't watched the Falcons a ton, they humanize quarterbacks in this weird way.
Yeah.
Josh Allen looked human.
And Baker
Against them. I think, he's going to throw an interception from time to time, Drake May. And
Yeah.
I'd say against this Falcons defense where really nobody, he might have, I'm going to be hyperbolic here, but I think he's had the best quarterback performance against the Falcons this season, because they've been really tough. So you're giving all this love to Roseman. Elliott Wolf, you've got 24 hours to get Breece Hall. Do not let. Well, it's you have an opportunity here, so I do expect them to make a move, go all in, and sort of figure it out. Did you see? I'm sure you saw the Cardi B thing. This friendship goes way back. I think Kraft knows Cardi B longer than he knows Stephon Diggs for sure.
Yeah, remember it was the video of them dancing. Mr. Kraft had some dance moves with Cardi B
they're all
not
friends.
too long ago.
They're all friends. Take me into knowing Kraft, like Kraft. What are these two talking about? Yucking it up for 4 quarters.
Hey, RKK is more in tune with a lot of cultural things than you would think. And he was always, look, I'll never forget him bringing in like Meek Mill to the locker room. He's like, look, this is my friend Meek. And look, we all got a kick out of it. It was great. And I think the one thing that Mr. Kraft does is, look, he's found a great coach. He trusts in the players, and he lets them do their job. For me, I play for 9 organizations. There's not a lot of owners that will have that kind of hands-off approach once they hire a guy who they trust. And I think he's done a tremendous job. And now he's around, and he would come down and he crack jokes with you, but he's done a tremendous job. And so it's always fun to see, who's going to be in that box room. I think Kenny Chesney was in there at the beginning of the game. So that just goes to show kind of the expanse of what he brings to that organization. He's done a tremendous job.
I loved it. I loved every second of it. And I sat down with Mr. Kraft at training camp, and he was, Hamilton, we should grab some bites of that to show this week. He was so convinced in a way that he knows how to obviously knows how to deal with the media.
Yeah.
He's the reason the sports media exists in a lot of ways. But he was like, we have our guy. So definitively, so adamantly, that I was like, oh, and I believed him for whatever reasons. He was like, Drake's the guy. We're gonna just watch. And I'm watching Stacey be like, oh God, what are you doing? Like, what are you?
Stacey.
Yeah, I was, but
Stacey's scarred from all those years with Bill.
It's just not a smart thing to do that. It's just not.
Right.
But that goes to show how much faith Robert really had in what's going on with everything. And Josh is in a good spot. This is like Josh's. This is what it is. What is the definitive quality of Drake May that stands out to you in knowing him?
Honestly, his personality. I mean, look,
poise.
No, but it's not so much poise. It's the humility. It's the ability to be like, I kind of joke. He always is like, oh shucks, or oh shoot. Like he's kind of And I asked him this, he was on our Quick Snap podcast. I said, where do you get that from? Is it your older brothers who just beat you up all the time? He's like, honestly, yeah, like I had to just, get back up and keep chugging along with those guys. And he's just really, to me, embodies in this day and age. You talk about the NIL era. He's kind of a throwback in that regard, right? He gives the praise to his teammates. He doesn't want to make it about him. And you'll love this story, Kay. So the school where my son goes to high school, they had a football game the other night, and Drake May just popped by to watch some high school football.
I saw.
And I was actually sitting in the stands with some of the other guys that I knew from the team, and they're like, "Is that Drake? He didn't tell us he was coming." And then it was a mass mob of people trying to get to him. And I think, to me, it's like he doesn't realize what he means to this region yet, because he's given them hope after a few tough years. So it's pretty incredible to see.
Again, Stacey's like, you can't just show up to play. Let us get you security. I love that. Let's talk about a gentleman who spent some time in New England. I don't think you two crossed over, though, you and Dabes.
No, we didn't. We always missed each other, but I've gotten to know him over the years, before, after games. And he also was at Michigan State a little bit, so we always kind of get a few jokes in about that.
Got it. Fans want him fired. Fans wanted to wake up this morning with him fired. What is going on with the Giants from your perspective?
Look, I think what Dart and Scadaboo brought to this team was a lot of energy, and it brought a lot of hope. When Scadaboo got hurt the way he did, you could see the air collectively taken out of that organization. I think Dayball's a great coach. He's learned from great coaches. I think he's actually, of all the people who you could have there working with Jackson Dart, I see a lot of similarities to a young Josh Allen when I watch Jackson Dart play. And when you look at when Josh really started to take off his career and develop as a quarterback, that's when Dayball got to Buffalo. And so I believe in them. I think they're having a tough time right now with injuries. Neighbors is out, Scadaboo's gone. The defense is just, they're hit and miss, right? They have this elite pass rush.
I would say the Niners have a lot of injuries, Brian.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, look, the league is a tough place. And like we just talked about with those quarterbacks, New York is an even tougher place to be. And it just seems to be like an unfortunate series of events for them. I do believe in Dayball as a coach, because I know what he believes in. It's a lot of the same stuff that I believe in. And when you lose Malik Neighbors and you lose Scadaboo and you got a rookie quarterback, and I thought the team played a lot better once Jackson got there. And I think that has to be a lot of credit to what Dayball and that staff did to get him ready. Now you lose Jackson Dart. There's a little bit of that aggressiveness that's taken. You lose Cam Scadaboo. A little bit of that aggressiveness is taken away. And, they battle. They do. It's just, you got to find what it is. And the defense has to do a better job of getting some stops.
The defense is the problem. The defense is the smoking gun here, I think, in a lot of fans' eyes. Like, we get what's going on with offense. I think there's two things. Let's take a TV break. This is why you should subscribe to the YouTube at Up and Adams show, because we're going to really get into it now. Because I like Dabes. I think Shane's drafted well. They don't want to be drafting at the top every year, though, to get these Abdul Carters year in, year out. I don't know what the answer is, because there's this idea of even just the recklessness with which Jackson Dart, that's the word being thrown around. He needs to protect himself. He needs to slide. He can't be out there taking these hits or running amok. How hard is it to teach? What is the most important quality a head coach must have to impart that sort of discipline in learning how to slide and protect yourself in a young QB?
It's so hard. I think, honestly, the way that these quarterbacks are brought up, I should say, look, and Tom Brady has hit on this several times, so much is put on these guys as far as physical development, but sometimes the mental development isn't there. And that's where you lean on the coach like Brian Daboll or Mike Kafka, right? Guys who have been around the position, can develop that position. But these guys, they come from college and they can get away with a lot of it. I mean, I don't want to bring this up. I know we don't want to create this narrative for Jayden, but Jayden's 3 injuries this year. And the last night was not a good one, right? It looked terrible. But the reality is, and I was not a guy who could scramble. Honestly, the one scramble play I had in Cleveland is what got me with the torn ACL. And so there is a level of, you don't want to pull it back. We just talked about Drake May. It's something that he's had to deal with. And where do you find that fine line? Because you're going to get hit at quarterback regardless of how the game goes. Now you go out there and run around. These guys are big men, fast, physical, and they're looking to hurt you when you get tackled. That's just the way the game is. And so it's your responsibility to make sure you take care of yourself when you get outside of the pocket. And so how do you transition from the college level where you can really get away with it to the NFL level? Sometimes you got to take some of those bumps and bruises and learn the hard way, which is unfortunate.
So it's on the quarterback, not the coach? Because the truth is, it's why you drafted Jackson Dart, because he can scramble. His magic is out of the pocket. And guess what, world? When you're down to Cam Scadaboo, who's clearly a tone setter, he means more than what he can even do, bouncing off people, setting the tone, the toughness, and all of that. And you're down Malik Neighbors, like, yeah, your legs are going to be... they need him to run. That's the show. That's the whole Giants show right now, at least on offense. That's what makes Jackson and potentially this team so dangerous on offense. Are you saying it's on the quarterback, not on the coach?
I'm going to agree with Tom here. I mean, at a certain level, you have to take a personal responsibility, and that's okay if that's your game. Like I always look at Lamar. I mean, Lamar does a tremendous job of eliminating hits, and granted, he's probably the fastest guy who's out there doing it. He's very smart in how he handles it. And I think at a certain point, like, the coach can't get into your helmet mid-play and say slide, right? You have to learn that. You have to make sure. And one of the greatest things that I learned from Bill Belichick in New England, there was a huge sign above the training room. It said availability is greater than ability, because it doesn't matter how good you are if you can't be out there to help the team win. And so a lot of that is on the young quarterback to understand this is a different level. This is Myles Garrett is chasing you. This isn't the defensive end from Mississippi State. Okay, this is a different level, and the coach is going to tell him, but ultimately the coach can't be out there and make him slide or get out of bounds or throw the football away. That's something they have to learn. And that's the hard part, right? Is if you're a little more mentally prepared, maybe now you don't have to force yourself and get out of the pocket. Maybe you get to your check down before you have to extend the play. So it's a fine line. You don't want to take that. You don't want to take the athleticism away from all these guys. I mean, Josh Allen has done a tremendous job of it, but Josh Allen weighs 250 pounds, right?
So it's a hard comp to make because you can't.
I know.
They're not built that way.
It really is.
Back on TV with Brian Hoyer talking quarterbacks. We're just talking on our YouTube exclusive. Guys, go ahead and subscribe to the Up and Adams YouTube page. I want to talk about Mac Jones in this game, right? He gets his 5th win as the starter this season. Shanahan says after the game that Brock Purdy's turf toe will never be 100%. I'm sure you could go and talk hours and hours about that. How would you handle this quarterback situation with Mac and Brock?
Look, it's a good problem to have, right? And I think the way that Mac has handled it has been incredible. I mean, look, a few weeks ago, he said, this is Brock's team. I'm here to help win. That's the right way to do it when you're the backup quarterback. And I love this for Mac. Obviously, I was there with him his first 2 seasons. The first one was great. The second one was far from great. But I think, and actually I was texting with him last night, just telling him, how happy I am for him. You see him having fun playing football. He's joking around with the media after the game. He's done a tremendous job.
What did he say out? What did he respond?
They asked him, like, did you sub yourself out so Martinez could get in? He's like, yeah, Kyle, we were going to take a knee. Kyle didn't really see me, but I like to see for this guy who's had, some tough times. And I think you see a level of maturity that he's gained going through these tough situations. And I love the pairing of him running that system, because Mac's greatest strength is his brain, and he knows how to process things quickly, and that's what you see when he's had success out in San Francisco. So I love it. I think, look, you paid Brock Purdy the money, and until he's healthy, I think you keep rolling with Mac Jones. And as you said, turf toe is tough to come back from, especially when you're planting and pushing off at the quarterback position. But I think if you're the 49ers right now, you have to be very comfortable going out there with Mac Jones each week. I
mean, Brock's not going to be 100%, so we are, in your opinion, let's keep the Mac Jones show going.
I mean, for right now, he's executing at a very high level. Yeah, for this year, that doesn't mean that there's going to be some quarterback controversy, right? Kyle's going to understand how to handle this.
A quarterback controversy.
He does. He eats that. Look, I've been there before. So
we all know that kind of person who's like, oh, I can't choose between these 2 women or men. Like, I can't choose. I love them both. It's like we all have that friend that constantly puts themselves in that dramatic situation because they like the chaos and that they just need that. And Kyle. We can say Kyle Shanahan loves that stuff. That's Kyle Shanahan's comfort zone right there.
Yeah, I think it's very telling how high he praises Mac in the media. I think it's very telling of what he really feels about him. Yes. And so I think,
always has.
It makes you wonder, does he wish instead of drafting Trey Lance third overall, he could have had Mac Jones as a rookie and had him even younger and molded him the way he wanted him. But look, it's a good problem to have. As you and I both, we just talked about quarterbacks and staying healthy. Look, I think you go with Mac until Brock feels like he's good to go, and that's only up to him to know and the trainers, and then at that point, you paid him to be your franchise quarterback. You have to put him back out there. I think that's the right thing to do, and I don't think Mac is going to be upset about that. He's done a great job for that team, and ultimately, he's done a great job for himself moving forward because teams around the league are going to look at him and say, that's the Mac Jones we saw his rookie year. We know he can be that type of quarterback. And so I wouldn't be shocked if he becomes an asset for the 49ers for some teams that are maybe looking to trade for a quarterback after this season.
NFC is a mess. Last topic for you, and I don't even freaking know where to go with it, and it's the Packers. Because they were at the top of the NFC, now it's the Eagles. I'm very close to the fan. I love this fan base. Like, I want them. They haven't had a convincing win until last week. And then I was like, okay, now, but they're just not like, I call it like squashing the cigarette on the sidewalk on these teams. Like, be decisive, be tougher, close it out. Don't let teams hang around. And then they not only let a team hang around, they lose to these Panthers. After the game, LaFleur's talking about the red zone issues, 1 touchdown in 5 trips, this weird throw from Love, all of this. They went for it down 7 on 4th and 8 with 11 minutes left. What is wrong with the Packers?
I mean, look, they've had some tremendous games. You mentioned it, 2 weeks ago, Jordan Love looks like the best quarterback in the NFL, right, against the Steelers. Week 1, they basically handed it to the Detroit Lions. It's just one of those things in the NFL. You got to bring it each and every week. You can't walk out there, I don't care how good you are, and think you're just going to roll over a team. And I'm not saying I'm not there. I don't know if that's the case. But you see kind of like you said, like you see the back and forth, and you're like, man, I remember looking up yesterday, seeing the score. I'm like, the Panthers? I mean, and the Panthers are a good team, don't get me wrong, but that's a game at home that the Green Bay Packers should go out and just handle and do it the right way. And so until they figure out a way to be more consistent, it's going to be hard, especially, look, we just talked about Howie Roseman is gearing up for another title run. He's trading for all these guys. He's doing it. You're going to have to beat the Eagles at some point. I just don't know if they're ready. I think they play each other in a few weeks.
What is it? Then they play each other next week, Monday night.
Yeah, so that'll be a great
at Green Bay again.
test.
But tell me, what is wrong? What's wrong? What is it? Why aren't they consistent? Why? Brian.
To be honest with you, I don't know, and I haven't watched them enough to tell you exactly what it is, but it's kind of been the way it's been since Jordan Love's taken over. There's been some great games where you're like, 2 years ago at the end of the season, I thought he was going to take that turn to be one of the top 5 guys in the league. Last year was, I would say, a bit of a down year compared to that. And so now you have a great game one week, you come back out, it's not so good.
Well, you're saying Jordan and not LaFleur, which, is
well,
that,
I don't know. I mean,
telling?
It could be both. It could be both. And I think, like, when I saw them trade or sign Josh Jacobs, I was like, this is a great. We talked about it with Mahomes earlier. I think Josh is one of the best running backs in the league. And I know at times there's been like, should we give the ball to Jordan, to Jacobs a little bit more? And so you're kind of having that back and forth. And to me, that offense, which is in that Shanahan scheme, which is in that Kevin O'Connell scheme, it all starts with the run game. Yes. If you can play from ahead, you're in control. And when you don't get in control, it's kind of similar to what we saw with the Colts yesterday out in Pittsburgh, right? It's all about gaining control of the game and being in your comfort zone. And sometimes these teams, when they get pushed out of that comfort zone, they find themselves behind when they didn't think they would be. Sometimes those things start to unravel. And that's really where it comes down to the separation of the great teams from the good teams.
Tucker Kraft, by the way, this just in. We all know he left on the cart, hated that. He's their leading receiver by far, done for the year. Torn ACL. So let's look at me, Green Bay. I am your fan GM. Get on the phone, Adam Peters. Get me a Zach Ertz. Go get Zach Ertz. They lost. Their season's done. They have 3 wins on the year. Jaden Schmidt, like all that's going on. Like that's Hamilton, Harrison, we're in our YouTube break. We'll say bye to Brian in a second. Harrison, Hamilton, is there anyone else that might be an interesting move for the Packers? They've got to go. Roseman might go get Ertz just to piss off the Packers. Like what? Like, right? Is there any other tight end that might be available? No, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's the biggest one that comes to mind right now. I know people have thrown out Mark Andrews. I think that's done with the Ravens being back in the mix.
They're not going to give him up.
Yeah.
They got to go get him.
That's a great point.
Brian.
No, I mean, look, you start to look at the teams, like you said, the Commanders, who had such high hopes coming into this season. They've dealt with injury after injury, especially their quarterback. This is not going to be the year for them. And when you look at it, they actually have the oldest roster in the NFL. And I think you were talking about it before when I was waiting to come on. This is a chance to maybe unload some of those older guys like Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, get them to a team that maybe has a chance to make a run late in their career and try to accumulate some picks, because you got to inject some youth into this team, particularly in the defense.
Juwan Johnson, Saints. Mickey Loomis, line 2. Go get those are the 2 teams to go get your guy from, and then put more on your rookie, Matthew Golden. We're waiting for that big moment for him. Now, he's going to have to step up and get it done so they can be consistent. And not just, I just don't like, listen, I have enough trauma in my life that I enjoy chaos. I thrive in it. I like it. It's fine. I like live TV, all the whatever. But I do want to know what I'm getting from a team. And like with the Packers, I'm a little like, what am I going to get? What are we doing today? What am I going to get? I always know what I get when I talk to you. Great analysis. I get to put you in a corner. You give me great answers. You are crushing it, Brian Hoyer. I cannot be more happy for. I mean, you're pulling Drake May on the show on what a random flex by you, which I love. So everybody, please check out Quick Snap Podcast. It's you. It's David Andrews, Brian David Andrews, every Wednesday on YouTube. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thanks, Kay. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. We'll be back. We're going to do a little secret menu vibe. Cat's like, don't get me on TV. What is this? Oh. Matthew, because I haven't had enough sugar this weekend.
It's fruit. It's all.
Do you have what this is?
Good sugar.
I don't think I do. Do you have it? Ham? Time for our secret menu. We do this every Monday Night Football. These are bets. This is action you cannot get anywhere else. It's Cowboys Cardinals tonight. These are custom specials. Like I said, you can't find them anywhere but beautiful and wonderful FanDuel Sportsbook. Okay, while we're doing this, I'm going to sip on my secret menu item. It is, here's what I'm reading. It is called the Bliss Smoothie. Oh, Bliss! I need Bliss after this stupid Week 9. This is mango, pineapple. It's Erewhon, so it probably costs $9,000. Okay, great. Dragon fruit, coconut water, coconut milk, lemon juice, vanilla collagen creamer, maple syrup, and a coconut cream top. This is a secret menu item from Erewhon. Ooh. And here's what I think tonight. It's delicious. Tastes like Maui. My favorite one for tonight, and there's 3, so go check out the other 2. This, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, exciting, great offense. They will combine for 2+ touchdowns. That means if CeeDee scores 2, we win. If George scores 2, we win. If they each score 1, we win. At least 2+. You can only get this on FanDuel. My other special secret menu items are there. Hamilton, I can't. I could never put this thing down. Let me remind you how you find it. I cannot wait to get these claws off my fingers. Oh my gosh. Go to the app or wherever. This is like a sweet tart. This reminds me of Trops. Put some vodka in this and we are rolling to a good day. There's if you go to the game for tonight, so Cardinals, Cowboys, you find the Monday Night Football tab. There's a Kay Adams secret tab. You can only get it here. You can't make it yourself. So suck on that.
And there's a couple more on there too. Have fun with.